Hey guys, Pretzel here. Welcome back to another video. In this video, we'll be talking about some more Godzilla figure news, which also involves Kong, but the stuff that we're going to be talking about is Godzilla related, so might as well just call it Godzilla figure news. So, Playmates Toys, which is a toy company that I've never heard of before, which I thought was a different toy company, but I'll get into more of that later, has made Godzilla figures. So far, they've made Space Godzilla, Sheng Godzilla, Gigan 2004, Destroya, and Kong from Kong Skull Island. And that's basically what they've made so far. And these figures are the figures that we've seen. I can't remember which event it was, but I did talk about it. It was that event that had that giant, terrifying Godzilla head that was on display. And then I talked about there was figures in the background. You couldn't really tell what they are, but you could obviously tell that there was Kong, and there was a giant Kong, and then the 6-inch Kong, which the 6-inch Kong is the one that we will be seeing in the video that I'm going to be talking about later. And then there was was it 3? No, there was 4. There was 4 other figures that were in the background that I gave my guesses on, and it seems that my guesses were correct. There is Destroya, that I said kind of looked like Ghidorah, but when you go back to the image, it doesn't necessarily look like Ghidorah. And then there's Gigan 2004, which I got correct too. And then there's Sheng Godzilla, which I also got correct. No one really knew who that was going to be. And I said it kind of looked like Zilla. Once you look at the HD version image of the Sheng Godzilla, doesn't look like Zilla, but it's not good at all. It's terrifying. If you want to put it like in any other word form, it's just terrible. But we'll get more of that in here in a second. And then there was, of course, Space Godzilla, which was very obvious because it looked like Space Godzilla. And the best look out of 4 of them was Space Godzilla. So the first 2 that we've seen, which these figures are apparently in Walmart, which makes sense because in some of the images that we have, you can see the Walmart exclusive Jakks Pacific's Godzilla King of Monsters figures. So yeah, this makes sense that these are at Walmart. The first ones that we've seen that came out into public was Space Godzilla and Sheng Godzilla. Space Godzilla, from the first image that we have these guys at all, looked pretty fine. Of course, Sheng Godzilla does not look fine at all. It looks terrible. And then with closer looks at both of them, Sheng Godzilla still terrible. And then you get a better look at Space Godzilla, which now looks very terrible. Than his teeth on the top row, they did not do a very good job with these. Very, very much looks like, what's it called? Is it Trains Master? Something like that? I really don't remember what it's called. Like the very old Godzilla figures. Like the first kind of ones that were coming out. And with better images of Sheng Godzilla, it looks very, very, very reminiscent to the NECA Sheng Godzilla figure. I mean, if you take your Sheng Godzilla, if you have it, and you set it down and then you look at an image of this figure, it's basically the same exact design, but of course the NECA one is a lot more better. This is just weird. I'm pretty sure a lot of people already noticed this. If not like everyone noticed this, definitely a lot of people did. That's just kind of, I don't know, kind of stealing, I guess, maybe. Which is kind of wrong for them. And then there's Destroyer, which doesn't look too bad, I guess. But, you know, it's still kind of low quality kind of figure. And then I think the best out of all of these is Gigan 2004, which only image that we have of that is the box version that's on the back of the boxes. That's, you know, says collect them all and has all the other figures. Out of all of them, Gigan 2004 looks the best, though we'll get our final judgments on that once we get an actual image of the figure itself, see if it's actually looking good or not. And then there's Thick Kong 2017. Did I say Thick Kong? I meant King Kong, or just, you know, Kong. Sorry, I'm not very good at making jokes. But anyways, we have our first, I think our first official, definitely not our first official Kong figure. Definitely not. I was going to say our first official Kong Skull Island figure, but there was Kong Skull Island figures back in 2017, you know, with the bat, and then you know, the giant spider and the giant Kong, but there wasn't a 6-inch Kong. But again, still, this Kong figure does not look very good. I mean, it's not terrible, but he is pretty thick, which I don't know, is not very accurate to the film. But I mean, hey, it's $12, so maybe I'll pick them up. Possibly, maybe, I don't really know yet. So yeah, that's those. At first, I thought these figures were from the company called Bandai Creations, which, you know, I already knew it was Playmates, but I thought Playmates made the figures that Bandai Creations made, because Bandai Creations were the company that made the Bandai vinyl Godzilla figures that, you know, were like in Kmart and Walmart and, you know, those kind of stores back in the day, which are the ones that I have in my closet. Those are the first Godzilla figures I've ever bought. And I thought Playmates Toys was that same company that made these figures that are in Walmart currently. I say that because the boxes look very similar. But once you look at the boxes for Bandai Creations Godzilla figures, they use Godzilla 2004 on theirs. And on these ones, I'm pretty sure they use Godzilla 2000. I can't remember exactly what they use, but I got kind of mixed up between these two. But because I was going to say Playmates Toys, they made these guys back in the day, and it looks like they downgraded, but it seems that they didn't downgrade at all because they haven't made Godzilla figures before, and these are their first Godzilla figures, and not looking very good. I hope they do better for the Godzilla vs. Kong figures, which, gotta be honest, I'm kind of worried about it. Hopefully we got some other companies that are 10 times better making Godzilla figures than these guys. Not gonna lie, these figures are a bit disappointing. I might pick up the Space Godzilla, because I don't have a Space Godzilla figure, so I might pick him up, but I don't know, it depends on if I actually have the figures in my Walmart or not. I'm really hoping NECA makes Godzilla vs. Kong figures. I don't really care if they make a Godzilla figure for Godzilla vs. Kong, because, you know, there might not be any changes to the Godzilla 2020 and Godzilla 2019 design. It might just be the same exact it might be the same exact design, so, you know, who really knows yet? But I really hope they do make a Kong figure, because I would really like a Kong action figure that is really articulated and that kind of stuff. That'd be really cool. And I can also use it for stop motions, which is going to be a bit more difficult because I've explained this before, but making stop motions with Godzilla figures is a lot more easier because they have their tail to support their, I guess, weight. so the figures aren't falling over every 10 seconds when I'm trying to move them. Because with, like, say my Predator or Marvel figures, they don't have tails, so when I try to make them, say, like a running pose, or them about to punch the other character in the face, it's a lot more harder and doesn't really look very realistic because of the ways I have to do it. If I have, like, you know, something that I can put the figures on, like a holder, which I don't have. I used to have one, but it broke, so can't use that anymore. So it's a bit difficult to make figures with two-legged figures instead of, you know, figures with tails, such as, you know, Godzilla figures. So Kong would probably be a bit more difficult to make stop motions with than Godzilla figures, but hey, it'd still be cool to have a Kong figure. And that is not all that we have for today. Another thing that we have, which is pretty old, but, you know, might as well cover it anyways. We have the U.S. prices for the SH Monsters Burning Godzilla 2019, which round up to about $90 to $95, depending on where you buy it. My personal place I'm going to be buying this figure from is Amazon, but unfortunately it looks like it is currently unavailable on Amazon, so I will have to wait for that, though it's not going to be too big of a deal because it don't come out till June 25th, I think it was. It don't come out till June anyways, so, you know, it's not that big of a deal. And maybe I'll try to figure something else that I can buy, but I don't know, depends on what I get for tomorrow, which is Christmas, if you didn't know that already. But anyways, that is it for this video. I hope you guys all enjoyed. I will be making more videos, but not till a couple more days after Christmas, because I'm going to be pretty busy doing a bunch of Christmas stuff. So I'll make the videos when I can, but if any news comes out, then I'll get to that a lot more sooner than unnews related videos. So just stay tuned, I guess. But anyways, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.